In this video, we're going to find out once and for all the difference between a cheap aftermarket speedo cable and a genuine Land Rover speedo cable. The results are quite interesting. Stick around. This is the genuine cable that came off that 90. I just want to have a look inside and see why it was so expensive. Cut the end off. We'll pull the cable out. Well, it's pretty rusty. It's not lubed up with anything. This might be the difference here. Look, I'm going to try and see. I think I've got one in the container, but I think this piece on some Land Rovers, this is the bit that goes into your transfer case, is actually just stamped out. I'm not sure. They used to be just stamped. Can I see what's inside? No. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the grinder and I'm going to take a little bit of this covering off, and then we'll open it up and see if there's a liner inside this. That could be the difference too. Very interesting. There's a steel braided cable or whatever it is on the outside, and then there's moulded plastic on it. Let's see if I can peel a bit off. So we can see now quite clearly on the inside of this speedo cable there is a plastic liner. Now, haha, could it be that this is why it's so expensive? I'm going to have a look in the container to see if I can find a new one. I don't know, but the plastic will act. The plastic will act like a lubricant, the nylon, and it'll stop the cable jamming. Let me go and have a look. Here we go. A brand new one. What a sacrifice. Let's have a look and see what we get in the bag. It's a speedo cable. I notice all these parts come double bagged, so they must be coming in from overseas, so they can be rebagged by All Makes or Britannica or whoever. Now that piece has got the machine tip on. That's interesting. How you can tell them apart with the jobber ones, they have these god-awful grommets on here, and somebody did comment how difficult they were to fit in. Well, you just simply warm them up with a hot air gun. I would like to keep this cable, but I think my viewers would like to see what's inside one. Well, let's see. Right, so I'm going to cut this. We know why they're cheap now. Because it's a steel liner. Let me go and get my grinder out. So there we go. This is why it's cheap. Cable's okay. Nothing wrong with that. And it's got the same wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. It's got the same machined end on as the original. Not much difference there. A few difference in the crimp and things like that, but the big difference. It's got a steel wound cable. Now, that in itself shouldn't be a problem. But I can understand now why like sometimes these jump, because I think they're just too dry. I think that's its issue. They're too dry. It's quite flexible, there's nothing wrong with that. But this is the way they used to be made. In fact, there's more work into making this than there is the plastic one. Oh man. But I think these are just too dry. I think that's its problem. I think that's why they jump. But there still shouldn't be any reason why they should jump, because this is lovely and smooth, but as you can see here, pull it through my hand, nothing. So, how do we get them out to lubricate them? Because if we can, make a fortune. Now, I put silicone down them, but I'm just trying to think if there's an easy way, because you see, this end here has got a barbed type fitting on, and it's in a cross, I do believe. Yes, it is. A square, should I say. So you have to compress that to fit it. Let me see if I can make a tool. This is getting a little bit more complicated than I thought. Inside there's a square drive, and I thought that was the piece that was holding it in. So I thought, instead of making a tool, I'll just use the square of the spare drive and push it on and see if it'll open those barbs out. But I was wrong. It's not very often, is it? So, big head. So what I did was I cut off the ring that goes on here, and then you can get this off. So what happens is that this piece is crimped onto the outer of the cable here, so this can't move backwards and forwards, so we're snookered. Now the only way I can think about lubing that up again was like with pressure and force silicone down that line, because you'll never get anything down this way because of the way that's going to seal off, if you see what I mean. Ah, interesting, isn't it? Bone dry though. I wonder if one of those old-fashioned... Oh, now it's starting to undo. Oh, I'm buggered now. I wonder if one of those old-fashioned cable oilers would work. Hard to say, isn't it? Because I mean, here's the old cable again. And where's the piece that we cut out? I'll tell you something, I might just do another experiment and see if I can oil this, because I've got another can of silicone spray, and we'll see how far it goes. The other day when I was experimenting filling this full of silicone, I put a piece of silicone rubber hose over it. It doesn't really matter what, I mean this is just some silicone off an old hose that was too long, and make a little a well to go into there, but just to prove that it does actually, you know, when you're forcing liquid down there, I put it in a jam jar here. Well, you can already see because my gun's leaking, and you can see it's pushing air through. Look, watch. This is good. That is good. So what it means is, if I run and get my silicone spray, which is nowhere to be seen. Oh, wait a minute, I'll go and get it. So here's some silicone spray. I filled it up, look. Oh no, I haven't. It's very gassy. I'm using silicone because it, like I say, it's got good qualities in the hot or the cold. Let's see if it's coming out there yet. Not quite. Let's force it down. There you go. See, it does get through. So what I'm thinking is, and this is maybe why I don't get a problem with the cables, because I always lube them up with silicone, but I've never actually seen how far it comes out, if you see what I mean, down here. You see it's pouring out now, look at it, now it's on its way, look, it's great. So, if you haven't got an airline, put a little bit of hose on the end and hang it up and just keep filling it full of silicone spray. Because when the silicone lubricant dries out, it'll leave a film all over that, and it'll be top notch after that. And that's it, I've never had a problem with speedo cables, but people say, oh, it's jumpy, jumpy, jumpy. Well, maybe it's jumpy because, as you saw when I took the cable out, there's no lube on it, there's nothing. But like I say, silicone will make a difference. You could also use something very light. Let's have a look. Perhaps like a deep creep or something like that, something that's going to stick. WD-40, forget it, that's waste of time. That's only good for throwing in the bin. But I think we've established now what we can do with the speedo cables. Now the ironic thing is, from what I've learnt from this experiment, is the actual Land Rover cable's built even cheaper than the aftermarket one, but it works. And that's probably why people put them on and say, oh yeah, no problem. But to put the jobber ones on for a $5, or jobber, Quebec word, the aftermarket ones on for a $5 and find out that they don't work very well, well, they're dry as a bone, that's why. And you've got metal on metal sort of binding up. So have a go, buy a cheap one, squirt it full of squirty stuff, and then hey presto, save yourself £151. Buy yourself a silver bullet. Talk to you later.